Hello everyone, my name is Robert Augustin and today I'll be going through how to create three different types of charts in Excel. The first, the column chart, the line chart, and the pie chart. And I'll be using these three different data sets, the stock pricing data, home pricing data, as well as election result data to show how I'm going to create these three different types of charts. In looking at stock pricing data, I want to create a line chart. So what I want to do first is, well, if you're in Excel, it probably goes to home. You want to click on charts and you want to select your data. Once that is done, you can click on line data. And as you can see, you have multiple different types of options to choose from. I'm just going to choose line, regular one, and the chart comes up. And what you want to do from there is I always like to put the chart in a different sheet, and as you can see, this it's not embedded into the actual sheet. So I always like to put it in a different sheet, and what you do there is you right click on it, click move chart, new sheet. You can name the sheet. I will call it stock market or stock price chart. Okay. As you can see, click OK, and then it goes into this brand new sheet that you have down here. And let me move it over. Okay. Okay, so now that we have it in a new sheet, what I would like to do is try to get it to as close as this chart that I created before this video as possible. So to do that, I'm going to first show you how to create the grid lines in the chart. And as you can see, these are what we have, or is what's called grid lines, are the lines that show the different levels of stock prices for this particular chart. And the way you create those is you go to horizontal grid lines, and you could do major grid lines, minor grid lines. It doesn't really matter. It's just for the amount of detail that you want to show. For this purpose of this presentation, I'll show major grid lines. So there you have it. It's major grid lines. And also, the other thing that I like to insert is a trend line. And that trend line basically shows how the stock pricing is trending, how the closing prices are trending from 2011 to 2014. And I'm going to put a linear trend line in, and as you see, it goes in there, and also goes into the legend of the chart as well. I want to change this name to just say trend line, and the way that I do that is I go to trend line options, go to options, click on custom, and then you could just say trend line. Alright, and it pops up right there, and then you can just go ahead and go ahead and delete that, and there you have it. Next thing I would like to do is add a name for each axis, the X and the Y axes, and go to axes. I'm sorry. Go to axes titles, and then go to title below axes. And I'll call this dates. Okay. Now for the vertical, do the same thing. Go to vertical axes, and you have different ones you can choose from. Do the rotated title, and we'll call this closing prices. And that's that. Now for aesthetic feel, one more thing that I like to add are I like to level lines to the chart as well. I'm gonna drop lines, and this shows the various levels for each date. So what you do there is you just add that right there, so it's kind of easy to see at what point each date closes at for easy presentation. And that's that. Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to add in some aesthetics to the chart, some color to it. And what I'll do here is you go to format, and once you're in format, you could choose between these various different fill options and elements. You want to choose something that's not too dark, but also gives it some type of you know, fun towards it. I'm looking for one right here. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, and put that in there, and it's not, you know, adds some aesthetic feel to the chart. You take this asterisk out the title. All this data has been linked back from this chart right here, so the asterisk and all that and the title comes directly from the data here. Okay, so there you have it. That's the line chart for the stock market data. It's pretty easy to create, not too complicated. Next one I'm going to do is the chart for the home prices, and that's going to be a bar graph or a column chart. And let me show you how to do that. So what we have here is home market data for 2012 and 2013. And what I've done is I've actually filtered the data to show only homes in 2012. And what we're going to do with the bar graph is we're going to show how many homes were sold in 2012 based on these zip codes here. So the way that what we have to do to first do that is we first have to create another column here with the zip codes and the number of homes sold. So what I did was I first gathered up all the zip codes from in column E, and I wrote them down here. And when you're doing that, you'll see that there's some inconsistencies between zip codes. Some of them have dashes next to them, and some of them have dashes with extra numbers next to them, more specific zip codes. So what I did was I took out the ones with just the dashes, since they were basically the same as 322. 322.77 was the same as 322.77 dash. So I just, on this column, on this chart right here, I just merged them together. So once you have gathered up all the zip codes from column E and you've simplified them, you could then count how many homes were sold in each zip code. And not physically count. What I did was I used the COUNTIF function, and it's a pretty easy function, equals COUNTIF, and then you select the range in column E, and then you type in the zip code that you want, and which is 32202. As you can see, 3 homes were only sold in that zip code. And I did that for the rest of the zip codes, just filled the function through and got all these numbers here. So once you've done that, now you could go on to creating your bar chart. So just like we did with the line chart, you highlight all the data, go to charts, column, and you have all these different types to choose from. I'm just going to choose the clustered column. And you see it pops up right there. And what we did before, we moved the chart into another sheet called home sold chart. I have one that I did before in there, so I'm going to call it 1, home sold chart 1. Click OK, and it goes into the other sheet. Now we have another sheet. Move it over. And I created this before, so I'm going to kind of make it look a little bit similar, maybe even better than this one. So what we're going to do is first click on the chart, and I want to label the axes again. So do the same thing. Go to chart layout, go to axes titles, title below, and this will be zip codes. Next, we're going to do the vertical, rotate it, and this will be number of homes sold. There you go. Now you got the legend over here, shows you the home sold. And next thing we want to do is we want to add values into each of these bars right here. And the way we do that is we would go to chart layout, format, charts. I'm sorry, go to charts, and then you would go to, and what you do is you go to chart layouts. You can choose from different ones. I personally like layout 10. Shows the numbers right there for each chart, so it's easy to see the exact number that was sold. And then, like I said, all this data links back from the previous chart. As you can see, once I clicked on layout 10, it took away my axes title. So let me just go back in and add those again. And yeah, I do have to type them back in. So note is choose the layout you want first. The vertical. Here. There we have it. So that's the bar graph, and do the same thing. Add some visual aesthetics to this as well. Put something subtle, not too dark in there. I like the background blue. Other thing that we could do with the x-axis and the y-axis is you could actually double click on it, and you could actually change the range of it, the tick marks, how wide you want it and how low you want it as well. You go to scale. You could change how you want the vertical axis to be, if you want to go by hundreds or not. The way I have it here, it has going by hundreds, 100, 200, 300, all the way to 800. And that's the bar graph. Next one is the election results data, and I'm going to be creating a pie chart. This one's a bit easy to create. As you can see, we only have a little bit of data here. The way that we do that, same steps, is we select the data, charts, pie. For this one, choose something different. I'm going to do the exploded pie, and it gives me that. So I created one before just like I did for the other ones. It's the one I created before. I'm going to show you how to create it just like this. So what we do is first take it out of this worksheet, move chart, new sheet, and we're going to put it into, let's see, election chart 1. There we have it. Okay. First step is we're going to figure out what layout we want, and I want to display the percentages, so choose to display it like that, so it shows the actual percentages in each. But I also want a legend in there, so look for that one. It's pretty nice. Okay, yeah, so that one shows the actual legend. And if I want more things to be displayed, I can double click on it, go to labels. I can click on say category name and the value. So I could show all of that right there, just like that. And I don't like the comma, the way it's separated by a comma, so we're going to choose that, and we're going to just do new line, and it shows us just like that. So I like that. And next thing I want to do is I want to change this title right here to 2012 election results. And there you go. And the chart will move the lines as you go to fit